Hello, everyone. Keeping your foot on the gas. Now, this is the thing. When I was doing rideshare many moons ago, either way, it's been a while. I always kept my foot on the gas. So there were times I would have rides and go pick up a client, and they would usually take longer than the designated time. If you may not know, or if you never did rideshare or called on a rideshare to get you from point A to point B, the way that it works, the driver is not the driver, excuse me, the client is given at least 5 minutes to get to where they need to be, once you arrive to the destination of picking them up. And if not, you have a few options. You can either wait or you can cancel. Now, if you cancel, you don't get the complete fee. You get half of the fee. So we know basic math, you get half. The thing is this, though. I always kept my foot on the gas in the sense I didn't just pull off on people. I was usually patient. And the main reason I was patient because I already had my foot on the gas to get there. And I knew that, hey, life happens. Um, could have had a promotion at a job, could have been a client, could have been dealing with something very serious like a family matter. Or and none of those two, they were just late, you know? And when it went past 5 minutes, I would wait another minute and then I would call them and let them know, like, hey, I'm here. Now, on sometimes they would send me a message via the application that I was using for the rideshare company, let me know that hey they were running late or they're almost there, so I wouldn't pull off. And then there were times where I was in the process of hey, I'm here, I'm waiting on you. Are you still coming? But that usually got cut off by them just showing up to the vehicle to my car and they hop in the back seat and they say, oh, I thought you were going to leave me. I was rushing. I just hopped out the shower. I just woke up. I was out late. I was dealing with Jonathan and Joanne. I'm a single father. I'm a single mother. My kid got sick. All the different reasons. And I'm not to say if it's legit or if it's not legit. The point is, I kept my foot on the gas. So much so, they told me I was like, hey, no problem. Had my left hand on the steering wheel, pulled off, got them to where they needed to be, and along the way, some of them continue to apologize. Like, hey, again, thank you for not leaving me. Most people usually would leave me, and I would say, hey, I understand why they would leave you, and I understand why I would never leave a client because that's not in my nature. And I even told some of my clients at the time, like, hey, I was once an individual taking rideshare, and I did not want to get left for being late or 1 minute late, because at any time, each driver has a choice to hit that button called the cancel button. And as we know, it's clear as day. Cancel, you get, like I said, you get half of the fee, and then you just keep going. And throughout some of the drives, I would be spending some of my time listening to people tell me about their days, positive things, bad things, things that are somewhere down the middle. Like depending on the perspective, depending on what he or she tells their subconscious, it can get better or it can get worse. And I told them that, hey, just have to keep your foot on the gas. Meaning, you got to keep going forward. You got to keep going because, as I would tell them, as I'm telling you all, the show don't stop. The clock don't stop. The clock never pauses. Time never pauses, and no situation lasts forever. I had some clients that would hop in the vehicle. They would be down. By the time we got to the destination, they would be in high spirits. And some of it because they were sharing their thoughts with me, and then some of it was me actively listening, and letting them know like, hey, you're not alone. Everyone is going through something. Some individuals may be going through certain situations that are more pressing than others. Other people are going through situations that are less than theirs, his or hers. Now we just try to let that be known. And for the most part, nobody got like loud with me or disrespectful. Some would even say, "Hey, I know I'm just tired. I need a day of rest. I need a vacation. I need some help." And I was like, "Just continue. I'm listening." And then I would say, "I get it. We all need help." But as in all things, even when I was doing ride share, picking up strangers that I didn't know, as they sat in the back seat, just have to attack it. Again, keeping my foot on the gas. Someone had a negative disposition, kept my foot on the gas. Someone didn't tip me, I kept my foot on the gas. If I thought it was just like one person comes to the car and it was four people, kept my foot on the gas. Even when I got some individuals, due to life happening to them, they didn't have the most um, best hygiene, I still kept my foot on the gas. I didn't say, "Hey, get out." I didn't say, "Hey, what you doing getting in my car?" No matter a person's shape, size, color, or religion, I showed no bias. I just kept my foot on the gas. Now, the only I was biased. Let me retract that. I was biased when a person would ask, "Could they sit in my front seat?" The answer was always no. No, you can't sit in my front seat. And even then, I kept my foot on the gas. I said no. They would get in the back. And if y'all don't know, when I was doing ride share, I never really wanted a person to sit behind me. I wanted them to sit where I could see them on the side of the passenger in the back right hand. So I could just look, turn my head like that, look at them, look in the mirror, just in case, for anyone that's thinking about getting into ride share, anyone that currently does ride share. I think that'll be beneficial for you, for your safety, and just for your well-being. Um, yeah, keeping your foot on the gas when one is doing ride share, maybe as a rider, or as it may be as a contractor or as a business owner working for the ride share application, you always have to keep your foot on the gas, because you have to keep the main thing, which is being of service to people, as well as making your money, being able to set things up for you and yours and everyone that's within your boundary, because that's what it's about. It's about making things happen. And no matter what happens going forward, anyone that is doing ride share, or again hopping in ride share, let's say you're an individual that never did the ride share app, as far as making money and being of service to individuals, but of course you have to take it to get to your destination, because let's say your car is out of service for whatever reason. You have to keep your foot on the gas if you have a bad driver. you know, in the sense, even though you're not driving, you have to stay patient. You gotta just wait for him or her to get to where they need to get you to. And the same with an individual that's driving. If you're driving someone that may have a mental illness, like how I did a few times when I was doing ride share, and they would have an outburst. I just told myself, keep driving, keep your head on the road. You know, understand that it's not their fault. They have a chemical imbalance, and that's okay, because we don't know what the future holds. And since I don't know what the future holds, I'm not going to talk bad about someone that has a mental illness or a situation going on that's out of their control. You know, even people that were on the phone, and there were times I would want them to get off the phone. I kept my foot on the gas. I was like, "Wow, this, they're doing what they can do. They're talking pretty loud, and now I have to be in their business, not because I want to, but because I have to, because how loud they talking." So much so that when one would get off, they would be like, "Can you believe that?" And I'd be like, "No, what happened?" Even though I believed it, because I was listening. That's why God gave me 2 ears, so I could listen. And then I could tell them what I would think about whatever the topic was. Um, and it was all fun, appreciation, and just me being grateful. Because again, that's what it's about. No matter what you're doing in life, no matter if you're doing ride share for 8 hours, 4 hours, no matter if someone, a client, doesn't like your driving, and they send a little comment to the application, and the application shoots you an email. Ask me how I know. Still, keep your foot on the gas. You know, keep your foot on the gas, because they ain't gonna stop no show. Plus, they could have just been mad because they weren't driving. You know, who knows? But I just wanted to bring this to you all on this Sunday. Um, like, share, and subscribe. Anyone that's going through a difficult time, or anyone that thinks they're alone, or anyone that's just trying to self improve, trying to grow, expand themselves, may it be just as an individual, may it be from a finance disposition, being of service, helping people by doing the rideshare applications, or by being a service of just taking the rideshare app and helping someone provide for his or her family. Feel free to leave a comment. You all tell me what you think. As you all go through things in you all's life, do you all keep your foot on the gas? Do you ever think about taking your foot off the gas and complain to someone, even though it's only you that can drive the car in this example? Not literally, of course, as you all know, but it's up to you to make it happen. Um, yeah. Until next time, you all have a good one. Talk to you all later. Peace.